is business growth.
Mhm.
So that's chapter 5. Are you there with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So growth, when you talk about growth, it's one of the objectives of a business. So especially a small business. So because you are a small business, you could think about expansion in the future. So that makes it to become an objective for you. I think it's clear.
Yes.
So for a business growth, it could be one of the objectives of a business. So what is growth itself? Growth implies expansion. It means the business is moving forward. It means the business is expanding. The business is expanding in terms of resources. The business is expanding in terms of, when you talk about the resources, it might mean in terms of the workforce. It might mean in terms of the assets it has. Do you understand what growth is there?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I wrote, growth. If a business is growing, it means that it generates more revenue. That means it's making more revenue in terms of sales. It's selling more than it used to sell. That is growth. Owns more assets. It has more assets than it used to have. It is also growth. Uses more resources, which is either more of workers or more of machines. So if a business starts using more workers than it used to use, then it is expanding. What I'm saying in essence is this. Maybe now, as a business, we have 7 workers. But we are trying to employ 8 additional or 5 additional. It means we are expanding. That is what we meant by increasing resources. As a business, we might be using 2 laptops in our office, but now we are thinking of getting 4 or 5 laptops. It means we are expanding in terms of resources, either in capital or in labor. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And at the end of it all, the business will be making profit. So the objective of a business, when it comes to growth, is to increase its profitability. I'm going to say that again. The objective of a business is growth. One of the objectives of a business is considered to be growth, expansion. And when a business is expanding, a business will be expanding because it wants to increase its profitability. Do you get it here?
Yeah.
So you are expanding, which is an objective. And in the course of you expanding your business, you are expanding because you want to make profit or you want to increase your profitability. So to increase your profitability, what do you have to do? You need to increase your sales. To increase your profitability, what do you have to do? You need to increase your workforce. To increase your profitability, what do you have to do? You need to increase your raw materials. So within all these things, whenever you increase them or whenever you add more to them, you will likely make profit. Because at the end of it all, you'll be more efficient and your cost of production will reduce, which will logically or automatically bring up your profit. Is it clear?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Also, do you have any question up to now?
No.
Okay, so I should continue, right?
Yes.
So they said also a growing business may likely increase its market share, launch new products, and sell to a wider range of markets. So expansion does not only mean you are increasing your workforce. It does not only mean you are increasing your machines. It does not only mean that you are making more profit. It can also mean that you are increasing your market share. That means you are selling more than what you used to sell. Or now, you used to sell in 3 countries, but now you are able to sell in 5 or 6 countries. This is still what? Expansion. Do you understand what expansion is now?
Yes, sir.
So in some way, expansion implies increasing your workforce, increasing your machinery, increasing your market share, increasing the market at which you sell into. Any question about that?
No.
Great. So if expansion occurs, a business might be benefiting from a cost reduction. So when a business benefits from a cost reduction, we call it economies of scale. Are you with me?
Yes.
So this takes us to what we call economies of scale. So what is economies of scale? Economies of scale is a cost reduction that you are benefiting as a result of you expanding your operation. I'm going to say that again. Economies of scale is a benefit you enjoy as a result of you expanding your business. Do you understand what economies of scale is here? Do you understand what economies of scale is, please?
Yes, sir.
Great. So here I wrote economies of scale. This is a reduction in average cost experienced by a business as output increases. So as your output increases, you start enjoying a cost or average cost reduction. Then it is what we call economies of scale. So we have two types of economies of scale. We have internal economies of scale and external economies of scale. So before we go into internal and external economies of scale, in economies of scale, there's a short run average cost and the long run average cost. As a business, if you are witnessing economies of scale, you would witness it in the long run average cost. It means your long run average cost will reduce as a result of your expansion. Do you understand? If a business is trying to expand, in the short run, you will increase, your cost will increase because you might need to employ more workers. You might need to increase the number of machines or equipment you use. So this in the short run will increase your cost. But in the long run, your average cost will reduce. So in your long run, you enjoy your economies of scale. Do you understand long run average cost here?
Yeah.
Great. So we go into internal economies of scale. So what does internal economies of scale mean? It means the benefits you gain within the firm, the benefits you gain because of your expansion that comes within your operation. That is internal economies of scale. Do you get internal economies of scale?
Yes, sir.
Great. So how does internal economies of scale occur? Here I wrote. Internal economies of scale, these are benefits of goods which arise within the firm. They occur for a number of reasons. So when you talk about the reasons why internal economies of scale occurs, it implies the types of internal economies of scale. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So when we talk about the types of internal economies of scale, we have purchasing economies of scale or marketing economies of scale. We have technical economies of scale. We have managerial economies of scale. We have financial economies of scale. And we have risk-bearing economies of scale. So we're going to take one at a time. We start with purchasing and marketing economies of scale. I wrote, this occurs when large firms buy larger quantities of raw materials and components at a reduced or discounted rate. So what we are trying to say here is this. A business might enjoy internal economies of scale purchasing or marketing when it's able to buy large quantities of raw materials at a reduced rate. That means because you are buying large quantity of raw material, you are buying it at a discounted price. That is what we call purchasing or marketing economies of scale. Do you understand marketing economies of scale or purchasing economies of scale?
Yeah.
So it means because of your expansion, you are able to buy large quantities at a reduced price. Two, we have technical economies of scale. When you talk about technical economies of scale, this implies that this occurs as a result of buying larger plants, which brings efficiency. Because your business is expanding, as a result of that, you are able to buy larger plants, you are able to buy large equipment or machinery. And when you are able to buy large equipment or machinery, what happens? You become more efficient in your production. And when you are more efficient in production, it brings more value to your operation. It increases the added value of your operation, which makes you to have an advantage or edge over your competitors. So if this occurs, we call it technical economies of scale. So what is technical economies of scale again? It implies that because you have expanded your business, you have the ability to buy large equipment or machinery, which has increased your efficiency. Do you understand technical economies of scale?
Yes.
Good. Shall we move on? Good. So we have specialization and managerial economies of scale. When the business, a small business, let me quickly come back to a small business. A small business is naturally small. A small business might not be able to attract specialist managers. A small business might not be able to attract special skilled workers because they are small. Skillful managers or skilled workers might not see them attractive due to maybe their payment. Are you with me? So, because you are a large business, you will be able to attract special skilled workers, special skilled managers, which will help to bring up your production operation or your efficiency. So, because you are a large business, you are able to attract special skilled managers. You now have competitive edge over your competitors. This is what we mean by managerial economies of scale. Your ability to attract special skilled managers because of your expansion, because of how big your business is. That is managerial economies of scale. Is it clear?
Yeah.
That's managerial. Then the fourth one, financial economies of scale. Remember what finance is? Finance is the disbursement of funds from the surplus unit to the deficit unit. So when you are sourcing for finance, as a big firm or as a big business, banks might see you as a low risk. So they might be able to give you a loan, or they might be able to facilitate your loan. But when you are a small business, firms will consider you as high risk. So they might not be able to facilitate your loan. Do you get the difference between a small business and a business that is
Yeah. They're treated differently.
Yeah, they treat them differently. Thank you. So because you are a small business, banks might not want to facilitate any loan for you because they might feel you might not be able to pay back.
Yeah.
But for a big firm, banks would even want to give them loans at a reduced interest rate.
Yeah, because they're low risk. They have low risk.
Because they have low risk. I think that is clear. So if these occur, so the ability you have as a firm to be able to get or to be able to source for finance easily is what we call financial economies. Do you understand what financial economies is here?
Yeah.
The ability of a firm to be able to source for finance due to its growing state is what we meant by financial economies of scale. Is it clear?
Okay. Yes.
So the fifth one, risk bearing. When you talk about risk bearing, it means the ability of a firm to be able to diversify. The ability of a firm to be able to what? To diversify.
Diversify, yeah.
Yeah, and when you are diversifying, it implies that you have large portfolio of your products. So if you are big as a firm, you'll be able to produce the varieties of products, and that reduces your risk. So if product A is not selling, product B will sell. If product B is not giving that type of revenue you want, product C will give it. That is what we meant by risk-bearing economies. Do you understand risk-bearing economies here?
Yeah.
So it means because you are a large firm, you are able to diversify, which means you are able to develop a wide range of products. You are able to increase your product portfolio. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
That is the internal economies of scale. I'm going to quickly recap that. We talked about growth, and when we talk about growth, it means expansion of a business, which is one of an objective of a business. So if a business is trying to expand, if a business is trying to grow, another objective inside it is trying to increase its profitability. So When the business is able to grow, it will also enjoy what we call economies of scale. And what is economies of scale? It is the average cost reduction which a firm is able to benefit as a result of its expansion. A firm is able to benefit